is a tilapia bait video. The tilapia is a South American fish that is an invasive species here in Florida, and they've run roughshod over the waters here for 20 years or more, but it's finding a popularity amongst anglers. So if you are interested in catching tilapia, I'm going to show you how it's done. I have everything out here that I need to make this a short, brief video that's easy to understand, step by step. Okay, we're starting today with bread. I have bread here, and in my bowl, I've already put 3 slices to speed up the video. What I do is I remove my crust first and foremost. Removing the crust is important because it's the inner meat of the bread that you want. You can use any kind of bread you like. Potato rolls, things of that nature work really well. I do prefer hamburger buns usually because it crumbles to a more uniform consistency. But for the sake of what we have, today we're using bread, which works fine. So you crumble it into your bowl as small as possible. No method to it other than to reduce it in its size as quickly as possible. And this will give us a total of 4 slices of bread for this recipe. This is one of the better tilapia recipes. I do have others. Keep in mind this will also work for the Mayan cichlid, other herbivore fishes such as mullet, if you're interested in catching mullet, common grass carp. But first and foremost, the tilapia is what this is designed for. Okay, now that I've got my bread crumbled, I'm going to start to add the ingredients. And here they are. This is sugar. Small amount of sugar. This is cane sugar. White manufactured sugar works fine. I like cane sugar. Just flip that in. Very simple. Very important part of the mixture, garlic. What the garlic does is it sends out a scent signal that brings the fish to where your bait is. They have a very good sense of smell. They will travel in schools a long distance to eat. And the garlic gives your mixture the pungent taste and aroma of certain underwater foliages and vegetation, things of that nature. So I do have some minced garlic already ready here. This is clove garlic. If you do not have a clove of garlic, feel free to use garlic powder. It does work just as well. It works fine. If you're old school, you want to use real minced garlic, and that's okay. Okay, we've got the bread done. Garlic. A clove to 2 cloves will do, depending on just how bright smelling it is. All right, I've got a little bit of regular white flour. All this is going to do is become a binding agent to help keep everything together. This is less than a 1/4 cup, but I don't really measure it. I really just keep adding it until the consistency of my mixture is appropriate. So we'll start with a few pinches, and if we need to add more later, we will. And as I promised, a brief video speeding right along. The egg. Medium egg, large egg. You don't want too much egg. You do not want this moisture level to be too high. You want it to be a pliable clay. You want it to stay on a hook really well, which it does. So if you have a very large egg, open it carefully. Let out what you think you need. Leave the rest in the shell. I'm going to leave a little bit in the shell on this one. You could always add it in if you need more. I'm going to take my knife and I'm going to cut that yolk in half. The yolk gives it that really good thickness and color that makes the dough very attractive. Speaking of color, I'll let you know at this time that if you want to be creative and use food coloring, you can. If you're going for mullet, for instance, adding a little green to make it look like the underwater Florida foliage they thrive on is not a bad idea. Some people like bright orange, something to separate separate it from the weed beds you might be lying on top of. Maybe you're fishing suspended just above the weed bed. It just draws attention to the bait. And then you have a 1-2 punch. You have the smell to bring them, and you have a color to attract their eye attention. But mostly a yellowish white color and consistency is good. Now you're going to knead this with your hands really well until you get a hard ball of dough. Add a little flour if it's too moist. Reduce the flour next time if you need to. And what you'll end up with is a finished product that looks exactly like this. I made this yesterday. And this is our finished product. Very nice, very yellow. It's mushy, very pliable. It's been in the refrigerator, and that will help your consistency, help your molding as well. Tear your pieces and create little balls the size of eggs. No larger than a piece of popcorn. Round seems to work best for some reason versus oblong or other sizes. Create your balls and stack them out before you go out fishing for the day. It's not something I like to do in the hot sun at the side of the water. And I like to do it ahead of time because what that allows is your ball to solidify enough where it's moist in the middle, where your hook will puncture through very easily, but yet it's hard enough on the edges that the water is not going to erode the bait and slip it off of your hook. So take the time to make these in advance. I usually make 30, 40, 50 balls, maybe more. If you like to take the remaining with you to chum the water, that's a very good idea. Most of the time I'll cast my bait out on its hooks. I like to softly lay it above the weed beds on the bottom. Some people suspend it with a bobber, and that's fine if that's your preferred method of fishing. I see a lot of tilapia caught with large bobbers. I like to hook and line off the bottom with a sinker. To each their own. You can take the rest, and once you've made your casts, tear the same size balls off and chuck them out all around the area, remembering if your water's flowing, go a little bit upstream because it's not attached to a line and sinker. It's not going to drop immediately. It will float past your bait. They'll come and clean all that up, maybe not see yours. These balls are very effective for catching tilapia. Works every time. What I have here in Florida is I like a number 2 Gamatsu octopus. It's a very, very nice hook, super sharp. Let me demonstrate that for you. Puncture the center. Not unlike a salmon egg. There you have it. If you have smaller fish, or if you're fishing for mullet that have extremely small mouths, I like a owner mosquito hook. Equally as sharp, a little smaller, strong enough wire to bring in a big fish, but small if they have good eyesight for whatever you're fishing for. If you're not fishing for tilapia, you'll want a small hook like this. And that's how it looks on a mosquito hook. If you're in an area where circle hooks are required, I have Mustad Demon Perfect Circle hooks, size 2.0, size 1.0, Eagle Claw Laser Sharp, both are very good. Same thing, use a little larger ball to hide that hook. They are a clever fish, they will catch on to you if you allow them to. Goes on the circle hook the same way as any other hook. Circle hooks are nice because tilapia will engulf their bait, and they have large lips. They have weak mouths but large lips, and you get a good lip hook, you'll be in good shape, and you won't have to fight that hook out of the gills of that tilapia. And there we have it. This is good bait for Florida tilapia. If it worked for you, leave a comment. If it doesn't work, leave a comment, and I'll own that. But that's all I have for you today. Thank you for watching, and I hope this bait works good for you.